Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is NGS and thank you so much for clicking on the video. So you read that title right. Today we're going to be discussing the newest installment in the long-running Dragon Ball Z video game franchise. We're going to be talking about the recently announced sequel to 2015's Dragon Ball Xenoverse. In 2016, Bandai Namco is bringing us Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Now, this should be no shocker to anybody, especially if you were one of the, I can't even say few at this point, one of the millions who purchased Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Dragon Ball Xenoverse was one of the highest selling games last year for Bandai Namco. It was a game that I think shocked them on how well it did. It sold millions upon millions of units. Last time I checked, it was, oh my god, upwards of 3 million units. Of course, that was across PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and for the first time ever, on PC. Now, those sales would dictate that Bandai Namco would move forward with the sequel, right? And, well, we finally got it. To the surprise of some, to the excitement of some, to the skepticisms of others. That's the camp that I'm in right now. Keep in mind, though, that everything I'm going to be talking about today is going to be approached more from, I guess, what I want to see in the game. Not necessarily here to talk about the top 10 things they need to improve or make some kind of list like that, but I want to talk about what they showed with this announcement trailer and what they didn't. First and foremost, I want to get it on the table. This is an announcement trailer. I know a lot of people are going to look at this video, they're going to look at the length, they're going to hear what I'm saying, and they're going to think, dude, you're complaining about an announcement trailer. You're complaining about them announcing the game. Of course, they're not going to reveal everything. Yes, that is 100% true. The game is going to be properly unveiled at this year's Electronic Entertainment Expo in California, which is in just under a month, if you can believe it. So we're going to learn a lot more details on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 there. But for the time being, what I really want to, I guess, discuss are some of the things that I think they really need to improve upon in order for this game to be an actual success. Now, while Dragon Ball Xenoverse was a very, very good game, I did a first impressions video of it around a year or so ago. It did a lot of things right for the Dragon Ball franchise. Let's be honest. A lot of these annual releases based on popular anime series, they can get very stale. From Dragon Ball Z to Naruto to, heck, One Piece as well, a lot of these games are kind of falling in the same rinse, wash, and repeat cycle. Of course, we've gotten some really good gems in the past, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. We've gotten a lot of great games, different games, interesting games, but to be honest, the good really does not outweigh the bad in the situation. And when the games are really good, in some cases you wish that they had gone the extra mile. Dragon Ball Xenoverse is a perfect example for that. It does a lot of things right. First and foremost, the story is not the same rinse, wash, and repeat that you're used to with Dragon Ball Z video games. It does something a little bit different. It actually messes with time travel and alternate reality events. Would this thing have made a difference if we did that? Definitely something different from the generic, oh, let's start out with the Saiyan Saga, we fight Raditz, go through Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, and if they include the movies, yeah. But my main problem with Dragon Ball Xenoverse, when you strip away the story itself, I felt like it was very repetitive. And by repetitive, I meant in the sense that they included so much new stuff in this game that they didn't spend the time to refine these new things. First and foremost, they added in a lot of things that people have been requesting over the past couple of years. In Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you added character creator, done right. I don't want to say it's for the first time in the series. Well, it might as well be the first time in the series because it actually works well. Ultimate Tenkaichi, you've got a character creator. You were able to create a character from various races, from Saiyans, Namekians, Majins, etc., etc., etc. You've got a character creator. You've got an entire online hub with Toki Toki City. I believe that's what it was called, right? You're able to squad up with your friends online. You can host matches. You can do tournaments. You've got co-op. You've got a lot of cool things that people have been asking for with the Dragon Ball games. The problem with that is these new modes didn't have much refinement to them. I mean, stripping away from the complaints that people are going to have with balancing of the races and certain items and stuff, when you strip away all that stuff, the biggest problem I had with Dragon Ball Xenoverse was the combat was kind of lacking. Now, y'all know me. I come from the Dragon Ball Z Budokai days. I come from the intense competitive fighting scene for Dragon Ball games. And there really has not been a game that's topped Budokai 3. Of course, the Budokai Tenkaichi series is fun, and occasionally I'll fire up Raging Blast 2 for every now and then, but nothing tops Budokai 3. It just had a lot of depth to it, especially for a game based on an anime. With Dragon Ball Xenoverse, it didn't really have that depth. I mean, you start out the game, you get used to the control scheme and everything, but it kind of left you wanting to spam more than anything, especially in the story mode. There were a lot of instances where you had to spam to defeat these enemies, and that was very, very boring for me. I like a challenge. I like genuine challenge with these video games, and the fact that I had to resort to spamming my special attacks is just redundant. You know, combine that with the fact that the combat system is not the deepest in the world. You know, I didn't spend much time on Xenoverse. It's just a sad fact. You know, if the combat system was actually there, something that I think they need to improve on, I would still be playing it to this day. So that's one of the biggest things that I think they need to improve on. They need to focus and hone in on what people were complaining about, as opposed to trying to expand things from the first game. I mean, it's cool that we have this character creator. It's cool that they're going to expand the hub world and you can fly from here and there and you can have more people on screen. But to be honest, to me, all that stuff is more cosmetic than anything else. Looking at this article right here, Bandai Namco's announced that Xenoverse is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Rest in peace, 7th generation. Thank the Lords. It's in development at DIMS and scheduled for release in 2016 for both North America and I assume Japan. Europe has no date, but I assume it's coming out this year as well. It builds on the game with enhanced graphics and what promises to be the largest and most detailed Dragon Ball world ever developed. New hub city, more character customization options, along with a multitude of new features and special upgrades. More of this stuff will be revealed at E3. Now, while that's well and good and everything, I don't care about those things. I care about the core combat system. I care about this being refined. I need to see those improvements, because if literally all we're getting is just cosmetic stuff and them trying to tie in things like Dragon Ball Super and the movies and all these old things, that's a good segue to talking about the story. Looking at this trailer, I didn't see much in terms of difference. All I saw was they're going to be including Dragon Ball and potentially Dragon Ball GT in the movies. Again, stuff that could have been downloadable content for Xenoverse. Something that could have been a Season Pass 2. A second season, if you will. I don't see that warranting a sequel. I understand that, you know, people are going to look at me and say, hey, dude, for the longest time, you were complaining about the fact that these games have the same story and over again. So didn't you want something new? There's a difference between wanting a new original story and then you playing through the old things with slight differences here and there. None of these changes in Xenoverse really had a major impact. All they did was just show things going slightly differently, and then you have to go there and fix the event, rinse and repeat for all the major events in the story. I mean, heck, it was cool seeing Frieza and Vegeta team up in Xenoverse, but it really didn't go anywhere. It never really helped the story as a whole. Will they do that in this one? I do not know. I actually hoped that things, you know, progress differently, and there's actually repercussions for the things that happen in the story, instead of just, oh, there's this breach in the time and we have to go and fix it, and Kid Goku is evil and starts whacking on Krillin or something. I don't know. Like, that to me seems very, very redundant, and something that I think is not necessarily what I wanted when I said I wanted an original, more in-depth story. But again, like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see on that front, like we are with a lot of other things here. But what definitely you can't say for certainty is that they saw the success for this game, and they knew they wanted to go forward with the sequel, which is fine if you want to refine it. But if all of these things are simply cosmetic and they don't improve the things that need to be worked on, like the combat system and having a coherent story that isn't just rinse, wash, and repeat, I don't see myself really being that excited for Xenoverse 2. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but dude, this is like what you wanted. They're making all of these changes. They're doing these different things. Sometimes change isn't necessarily a good thing. It's all about execution more than anything. I want it to be good. I'm going to follow this game. I'm going to update y'all on what I think once I see it at E3. But if all I'm getting is more of the same instead of actual refinements to the system, if all I'm getting is just the fact that I can fly through the worlds and the character customization is more in-depth, shit, man. I might as well start recoloring Dragon Ball characters at that rate. Anyways, from me to you for now, I'm NGS signing out with this video, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.